To the point, informative, entertaining, and protecting the Second Amendment, welcome back to Elfster's Rifles and Reloading and the Palmetto State Media Days video series. Now in part 3 here, we went over to the actual Palmetto State Armory Dunbar facility. In this facility, I guess they would contain what I would call the general office, and also they took care of serializing your firearms, shipping, receiving, and also the assembly of your PSA firearms. And to actually witness a PSA AKV put together right in front of your very own eyes, put on a cart, and sent over to the shipping department was a real treat. Also, in this part of the series, we went over to the Ferris manufacturing facility where they're making other PSA firearm parts, and they also have the other part of Ferris, their engineering department, where they're engineering and developing those future PSA firearms for you. Now, also contained within the same building is Elfster. Derek Elfster and his genius. Man, I'm telling you, this guy really sets the bar of innovative AR firearms and AK firearms. Now, we could particularly record in that part of the facility of Elfster, but I am going to have a fourth part to this series, and it's an actual interview with Derek, and he goes over 2 of his favorite AR firearms. So enough of the BS talk, let's get this going.
Deborah, Chief Compliance, we got her Manager Compliance, and our Chief Operations, Sam, if he's in there. If he is not, we'll probably see him on the floor. This is kind of where we all work. This is our conference room. I want to do a quick tour because this is where the mile challenge started. It started out as a joke. We were all sitting around, we were like, hey, let's go shoot a mile. Nobody had really done it before. We went high bars, sat on a platform, took a couple shots at it, went, whoa, this is cool. And started the 1 mile challenge. This is the first 1 mile challenge gun. It had about, I'd say between testing and development, we had about 3,500 rounds on it before we retired it. Same barrel. Went through 2 trips to high bar without being cleaned. That was the first group of 1 mile challenge coin recipients. It was before we even had a coin. We started doing the plaque, and I said we needed to do a coin. That's where that started.
And that's your PSA 6 to 24?
That was actually, that was a Gen 2, it was a 6.5, and then that is not the PSA 6 to 24, we just started carrying those this year. That was a Vortex 6 by 24. Okay. That happened.
Oh yeah, Vortex.
It started about 2 years ago, the first trip to High Bar Homestead. But it was a standard, I mean, we wanted it to be a standard upper, we took a standard gun, standard lower, stock EP, 2-stage trigger and a Vortex. You've got $1,200 in the gun, and we've had probably 30 people shoot a mile with it.
And the one we shot out at Clinton
the new one.
Was the primary
Gen
6
3.
to 24.
It is our 6 to 24 by 50, the PSA custom,
Yeah.
and it's the Gen 3 upper. We had to switch it out
Okay.
with a click switch adjustable gas block.
Okay.
But that's where that trick started. That's where we started the whole mile challenge. We never realized. We're trying to find out now if anybody else in the industry's ever done it, but we had 38 people total in that trip hit a mile with the 2 guns that we had on deck. I don't know if anybody's ever done that before. And the gun was cleaned once. So, but that's where that started. Kind of proud of that gun.
Yeah.
That's why she's in a box.
Do I have any? Here, that's cool to take home.
This guy's an artist.
Right. Yeah.
Did you guys see the copperhead gun that Derek had? Did he have it out? The snake painted gun, the Lead Star.
I've seen him before.
He does that.
That's great.
So this is our receiving area, kind of where everything starts. pretty straightforward. This is staging, basically the staging for anything that would go in our distribution center, which is other than PSA Armory did. Your Magpulls and Armispecs and companies like that, all that receives here. This section is manufacturing receiving. Everything comes from other vendors for our build process, gets started there, and it goes over to our manufacturing assembly floor. These are all upper boxes. That's about a week's worth of upper receiver boxes.
Scoop one of those up and take them off.
Well, they're
Nothing
empty.
Oh, they're in
but
there.
upper receivers. Pallets.
Oh, yeah. This is Sam. He's over operations, basically the manufacturing process. He can kind of explain what we've got going on here and here, but this is basically the prep line for the anodizing line. We did put our own anodizing line in to give us a competitive advantage. We found that most of the time that we were building parts, we were handing them out, and the hand-to-mouth problem was because we were backed up in anodizing. Anodizers were taking 2 to 6 weeks sometimes to get parts to us, so we put in a multi-million-dollar automated anodizing facility.
So you remember earlier at Ferris we talked about Ferris makes all the uppers for PSA outside of a few coming from DC or Jacksonville. Basically we're knocking out 1,000 a day over there. Those 1,000 come straight over here. It takes a 10-minute ride to get over here. We sandblast and we'll anodize. A lot of them we anodize the same day. So we're kind of getting in front of that, building a little inventory for the fall now. Everything goes through the sandblaster if it comes from Ferris. Then we'll walk over here. You know, kind of the cool thing about Ferris, we learned a little bit earlier, you've seen the forging that comes from my own company, Spartan, right? So it's a Spartan forge. So we're controlling it from our supplier all the way through then to the customer, controlling, again, that cost, the quality, and the customer demand. So we can kind of control all that. So let me introduce you to Steven. Steven, he can kind of introduce himself here, where he come from, a little bit about himself, and tell him about the line.
Hey guys, I'm Steven Wesch. I'm the Anodized manager here at Palmetto State Armory. We just put this line in here back in July. We finally got production up and going. Our goal here is really just quality, production, try and make everything as consistent as possible. A little bit about myself, I'm from Texas. I've been here for about 7 months now, 6-7 months. And we've been rocking and rolling here with the anodized line. Everything looks great.
A lot of the benefits that we've already talked about, again, having that quick turnaround to take care of the customer demand without sitting several other areas. But the other big one is, especially with Steven here, before you'd buy a rail somewhere, we'd have our uppers, our lowers, they come from different locations, different anodized processes. He's able to control that now to where we can get a rail, upper receiver, and our lower, and it all match going through the line. Of course, with anodizing, there's always little tweaks and temperatures, and he's a technical genius behind that, not me. But to make all that match is valuable to us as well, and I believe the customer appreciates that. You get something that's not looking like a checkerboard, right? So, anyway, any questions about the line or more you want to share? What's your throughput? I mean, you're doing probably 3,000 pieces a
So
day.
right now we're doing about 3,000 to 4,000 pieces a day, just depending on what our needs are. Right now we're running all of our uppers. The lowers for the AR-10s and AR-15s all come through this line. And then I think we're at about 40 to 50% of all the rails that we do.
I think all the rails we make internally, you're probably doing all those. We still buy some rails from outside.
So yeah, we only offer black right now. It's all black anodized, so everything matches. That's pretty much it for the line.
When we go down to the other end, maybe we can see some finished product as it came out.
Yeah.
Kind of the finished product from an anodizing line anyway. So now we've taken that Spartan forge, we've machined it, we brought it over, blasted, anodized. These ladies here, they're kind of doing a quick QC inspection. They'll look at just the cosmetics on it, check it out. Once they're done with that, they'll package it up. From here, it's going to go straight over to the line. These products will probably be made into AR-15 upper tomorrow. That's how quick it's coming through here. Not a lot of these sitting around, which is good.
And you can kind of tell the rich dark black.
Of course, these haven't had the oil wiped across them yet. This rail's probably had some put on it. It's got the oil on it. As soon as they wipe that down with oil, you get that shiny color.
Now that's your new upper where you cut out the Picatinny rail in the middle. This came out about a year ago?
Yeah.
This should be a Gen 2, right? Set screws?
So this one has the retention. So there's two of the new anti-walk, which is what you guys are probably looking at. We had a temporary set that had 2 screws here that lock down to the nut. The real solution was to have this one that actually indexes to the barrel nut and it keeps it from walking.
Yeah, so you can't slip or rotate.
That's right. So you actually have a screw. You see the hole in there. There's a screw that comes out the center. That's right.
So it's a foolproof method. It's the best way.
Right. These are the new anti-walk design. And they'll have anti-rotation as well. So they're anti-walk, anti-rotation.
Now is that clip around the, no it doesn't.
It's a pin steel sleeve that fits pin pressed in.
Yeah.
And it comes out as 2 tabs. We found that the easiest way to do it instead of machining it, because if you machine it, those dog ears get a little weak, and it can rotate. So we actually take a tool steel piece and press it in with 2 roll pins. There's a machine over there that we use to do that.
Now this method of bolting through the barrel nut, that's something you started fairly recently, right?
Yes. So we're using clamp style barrel nut or clamp style handguards, and we did have issues. I think everybody's here got a Facebook account.
And that came out with mostly the Gen 3, is that correct?
No, it was Gen 2.
Gen 2.
The Gen 3s incorporated the new anti-lock, anti-walk, anti-rotation features. So we did have Gen 2s that had press fit, and if they weren't torqued specifically to our torque settings, assembly issue, whatever, or somebody that would take it off and put it back on, you would see a slip. They always had anti-rotation. They didn't always have anti-walk. Press fit works really good if you keep the factory settings. If anything ever happens or we make a mistake, there's any grease or lubrication on the barrel nut, it increases its chance to walk. So all of our Gen 3s incorporated this type of feature. There's 2 types. There's this one, and we've got another set that almost looks like a competitor set, but it's a larger block that fits on the side that locks 2 points into the barrel.
Your new adjustable gas block you have with your Gen 3s, are you, now that is proprietary Palmetto State Armory?
Yes and no. It's an adjustable gas block. The design is proprietary. The small frame ARs have a click screw that's a little bit more, it has less adjustments because it's a small frame AR. Your Grendels, your Valkyries, that kind of thing. It's lower profile, so you can use a low profile handguard. That one is proprietary to us. The one that's on the Gen 3 PA10 has got a more finite adjustment. I don't know if any of you guys have had those yet. I'll try to find one. Instead of the 3 clicks per rotation, you get 5. You get a little bit more adjustment. It's a little bit more robust.
And it comes with like an Allen tool?
It does. It comes with an 8 or 12-inch Allen tool that we're sourcing right now to adjust.
Yeah. But to use a gas block with this specific handrail, it's got to be low profile.
It does. So this is our distribution facility. To give you guys an idea, this is kind of slow right now. Stacy gave it's kind of a little bit of a bind in Christmas time this last year. How many packages we shipping that week? 130,000?
Yep, close to that, maybe a little
So the first week after Black Friday, I came to him, I said, Stacy, we got a problem, we need help. He mustered up the troops, got them together. Career military guy, kicking boots. He got 130,000 packages out in a 6-day window right after Black Friday.
Awesome.
We were averaging about 6,000 a day.
Yep.
6 to 7. The year before that, we were at about 4 with 3 shifts.
Yep.
So we doubled our production, had less help, and that week, which I gave you a little incentive, but he got 130,000. We had hardly no returns.
Right.
Wow. So that was that week after Black Friday, 130,000 packages went out of this building.
Better year this year. All right. Joe.
We'll just go straight up. That's up here. We got temporarily unavailable. That's where all that's at.
Hey, Chad.
Thanks for getting our PSA packages out, buddy.
Not a problem.
Greatly appreciate it.
Cool.
Pick system, we're looking at doing some automation in the future. During the holidays, we were ramped up to do about 6,000 packages a day. I'd like to get to 10,000 packages a day. We've actually got some things in process to get to that point. We expand all of our packing lanes on both sides. They're not full right now. We pretty much run one alley. But during the holidays, you'll see all of these lines full. We've got a quad over there that's got what we call single ship. A lot of times our deals will be one bolt, or a bolt with a charging handle, or a mag in a bag, or single item. You come to our website, you buy that single item, we can process those about 6 times faster than we can a multi-SKU item. So over there, we dedicate a whole sale of people just doing single SKUs. So if we've got 5,000 premium bulk carrier groups to go out, one per customer, they get processed over there and shipped out immediately. And then your multi-SKU lines all operate here. We got a whole manufacturing that's boxed up. These ladies go through, they put the manuals in, the locks in, make sure everything's good to go. Left here, they take all the small parts for any assembly and package them up. So each one of our parts is much smaller individually. This is our repair center. These guys come through. We've got repair and QA in here right now, going through some checks and balance processes on some of the lowers that we got. But these guys build, basically repair all the customers. But we average 65 a day, and that's carryover from day to day. We don't have a lot of incoming, but it's very low compared to the 1,500 uppers that we sell a day. A lot of times, this whole upper area here is AR upper assembly. This area here is QA. The next half is lower assembly. Across from that is the AK sales. The second half of that line is the AKV. As I was saying earlier,
Here's your AKVs.
Daily deal. Are those guns already built when you put it out for public? Like we're gonna sell these, or is it like we're gonna build?
some are and some aren't. Some are the same day.
It's like lean, like
you'll decide at 9, you build at 11 through 4, you put it on the daily deal at 4, and then it goes.
just in time.
Very, very close. AKV sale. Of course, this is one of the platforms that I think as a company we're the most proud of. Yeah, it's great.
You want your AKV? Well, here it is.
They'll be when they come out. The AKVs, it's the most highly test fired gun that we have. We're on a 2-mag limit on the test fire. We had tested on the second release, I think, between Colt and I, we went close to 10,000 rounds. My personal gun's got about 9,000 on it. We came up with that so we could do a mag change, a bolt lock, basically the 2 mags, which is 70 rounds, If it makes it successfully through that without any extraction, we check the rejection pattern. We actually got a pattern that we watch for. If we see any forward or rear, we tune it, we bring it back, it gets 2 more magazines. So each one of those AKVs gets 2 magazines to make sure that it's 100% based on what we tested in our first batch.
So on the AKs, all the testing, obviously, all this stuff's mechanical. I always say, just because it breaks doesn't mean it's bad. Stuff can break. On an AK, when you're going that many rounds, what's the first thing generally that starts going out or giving you problems? I'm not picking on you guys, but just in general, AKs, just high rounds of testing.
So from Gen 1 to Gen 3, Gen 3's
Where your front trunnion really comes into play.
you may see an incremental headspace switch. You'll see a little bit of a loss. But now we've got the new GF3s. We don't have to. I'm not selling it up. I've got a guy that's on an AK form right now and owns several groups. He's went through thousands and thousands. AK operators went through thousands and thousands of rounds without losing headspace. And when we release our 4340 steel trunnion, it's going to be that much better. So I mean, typically you'll see standard firing pins, extractors wear out, that kind of thing. We did have an issue with that firing pin retainer that AK Operators Union pointed out. We took the bolt out, flung it, the pin come out. We've actually corrected that since then. It was an issue of a manufacturer sending a slightly undersized bolt. Metal gets hot, it expands, pin didn't. It has a chance to fall. And we've not really seen a lot of that, but in that particular instance, when he was doing his test, the gun went 5,000 rounds, he's still shooting it, no headspace issues, nothing. It's just we had a firing pin issue. So
That's what I say. You know, stuff happens.
now the AKV,
That's what I call a tough job, shooting firearms all day.
Gen 3 edition. There's your click switch. I don't want to point that at anybody, but of course we've got our nitride gas tube, and then we got the large head adjustable gas block click switch.
And that's going to be on all Gen 3.
We'll go back to the front. But this is our serialized warehouse. You got anything that's got a serial on it that's getting ready to ship to a customer has to be maintained. All serials have to be maintained. But especially if they're ready to be shipped to a customer, we have them locked in this area. We're just going to walk through. I want to say there's about 50,000, 60,000 SKUs in that room, from lower receivers all the way up. We're actually talking about an expansion now. So we'll just walk through there, kind of take a look at it, and you can kind of see. If you ever hear a customer say, well, I got my receiver, I got my upper, and didn't get my lower, or whatever, they come out of 2 different warehouses. They have to. We can't put the lowers and the uppers together. They have to be completely separate. So a lot of times, the back warehouse is really caught up. When you make an order, your upper's going to go out quick. This takes a lot more time. It's about 3 times as difficult to do a lower or a serialized unit than it is a non-serialized. You got to verify the FFL, you got to verify the dates, you got to verify all that about it. So sometimes this warehouse will get slower, and you'll see that when you order an upper and lower, that your upper will come first and your lower will come next.
And this is where your firearm gets its serial number.
If you see a Space Force lower, do not put it in your pocket. They are being tracked. Thank you. You guys seen this? Nope. It's about to come out, 15-round extension.
Keep walking up so that I can get out of the hallway, please.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's
I've got
proprietary to your magazine only?
It works with our magazine only. We didn't want to make it for the other ones because you end up with all these different variations. We want to be as tight and as good as possible. I've had the pre-production examples for now about 3 weeks, and we were doing eye-level fully loaded test drop, which anybody that uses aluminum extensions and whatnot, they tend to flex and break, and they're not always solid. We had Thrill mold this to the actual base of the magazine. Comes in 2 pieces and locks all the way around. It's got the locking tabs, and it's got the brass threaded inserts. Very solid. We're very proud of it.
And it comes with a new spring?
It comes with a new extended spring. It'll come like this with an extended spring.
Now, is it safe to say that the PSA AKV is your most successful firearm?
I think the AR is going to always be the most successful firearm. I mean, it is what it is. As a company, it's been, I think, our most successful project. by far. I mean, and we're extremely proud of it. We love it. I love it. I fell in love with it the first time I pulled the trigger on one.
So you're not an AK guy either, and you fell in love with it.
I'm not an AK guy. I love ARs, but I love, AKs or something. There's a passion for them. People love them or hate them. It's just one of those things. I'd never really been exposed to an AK. We had issues with the first 90 sold. We had a big video about it. Jamin asked me to get involved because I have tinkered with 9mm platform. The Gen 2, 3 through 4 and going into the 5 AR9s have all been feedback from the shooting team. We've got 5 kids right now and an adult that's, I think we're the most winning PCC team in Steel Challenge last year for 2 years in a row. Won national championship. Lead Star won national championship. We got world records. I've got a world record. So all those things that we did with the AR9s, we kind of said, okay, let's see if we can do this with AKV. It's kind of the same function. It's a different chassis, but it's blowback, it's weight, it's reciprocating mass. Got involved with that, and it's been great.
Now everyone's itching to get their hands on the PSA 5. Can you go into detail on that?
You asked this question.
We're going to lunch?
Everyone-
As soon as we can get that product out at the price point that we think our customers demand at the quality that they want to have,
Yep.
we will produce that platform. But until then, I mean, we're not going to get in that $2,000 MP5 or whatever. We've got to, learning from the AKV, our customers demand 100% satisfaction 100% of the time, and that's what we're trying to do.
And have the inventory ready when you're ready to ship.
And have inventory ready when we're ready to ship. We're learning every day that AK, if we had 1,000 AKVs a day, I swear we could sell them. But we can't build them that fast and maintain the level of quality. If you go to any of you guys join our PSA AKV group official that's on Facebook, every now and then you'll see a little issue pop up that's minor, but Zane's been on there since day one. There's a passionate following over that gun. And we've got to have the same thing when that MP5 releases, or it's not going to benefit us or the consumer.
Mm-hmm. All right, I'll stop picking on you.
Is that my absolute?
Thank you.
So, especially specifically manufacturing. So we've got his side of Ferris, manufacturing, and we've got the engineering side, and then we've got Lead Star. So those are the 3 things we're going, and we're starting off with Sam's side.
There's a little free introduction. Again, my name is Sam Criswell, Director of Operations. So I'm responsible for Ferris. This is Bryson, Krista, Kevin. They're all started out as operators here. Some of them play a little bit of different roles now. And I'm going to let Bryson kind of take over and explain a little bit about Ferris to you.
So when I started here about a year ago, we were putting out about 1,000 uppers a month, right?
The first month was 1,000.
Today we're putting out about 1,000 uppers a day.
Congratulations.
No, just because it's going to get pretty loud back there. It's going to get a little hard to talk, and going to do most of the explaining up here. So this is what we start with here. It's a forging of an AR-15 upper. We get them from our forging house, Spartan or Anchor Harvey. After they go through our process, they look like this right here. It's what you're probably familiar with. From there, they go to Old Dunbar and they get anodized, and that's our finished product right there.
And Old Dunbar is our facility over at PSA. We actually do the anodizing over there.
Good. So, sort of just from start to finish, that's our bread and butter here. So,
Kind of I think that the reason why we're in this business here today is that we was able to control our quality, our cost, and the consistency of a product. So a little over a year ago, we've been buying from multiple different sources. We buy this finished product, and sometimes just because you're buying from multiple people, you got a little bit different shades in the colors. Little machining was done different on different type machines. So by starting this operation, it was really something that we seen that was really a requirement. We couldn't control quality. The cost was a problem, but even more important was the customer demand. So by buying from different sources, when the market was really hot, you kind of got what you got. And now within the company of JJE Companies, we make 100% of our own upper receivers. Majority of that's coming out of this facility, and then Somerville and a little bit out of Jacksonville. But this facility is the majority of all the upper receivers. So as he said earlier, about 1,000 a day we're getting out of here. We're just starting up a new work cell out there. 4 more machines will increase that capacity again. So it was really for us to stay in business and really keep pushing forward.
we needed to have this capability within our companies.
Thanks for having me along, Krista. Could you just give me a brief overview of this layout?
Absolutely. So each cell is running forgings, upper receivers. We have machines that run one operation. They go right over to another machine to run a second, right back for 3 and 4, sent right over to 5, deburred, and then shipped over to Dunbar to be anodized, assembled, and shipped right out to the store.
Awesome. Now, just to be crystal clear, this area only makes PSA uppers, correctly?
Absolutely.
Okay.
We do PSA upper receivers here, and a different part of our building we have Lead Star.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We run with a big tub over here, soap that cleans off all of the coolant, comes out of here. We put 50 parts in, it runs, tumbles all of these, softens up the hard edges, and then goes back. We pull them out and cleans up all of the...
Gen 3 PA10s, the AR10 platform, we've updated that with a, because of the long-range popularity, we've updated that with a new gas block. It's a click D10 adjustable gas block, so there's no lock screw on the side. You just put your Allen key down the front, count your clicks. It's repeatable. We're coming out with a couple new long-range calibers here shortly. Barrel Shop's working on one right now. It's a 6mm Creedmoor. So
Okay.
We got a 6.5. We're going to do a 6mm.
Yep.
260 Remingtons in the works.
Okay.
And there's a few more they're working on.
So what my viewers really want to know is, do you have an example of the AKE here with the FN cold hammer forged barrel? And if you do, can you give us any details on that specific firearm?
So we've got some of the prototypes here. We've got one version we built up with the combo block that it will see in production. We've got another one that we did some side-by-side testing in a traditional AKM configuration.
And those first two there are the AKE?
Those are AKE prototypes.
Okay.
Now, me not being an AK guy, what is the AKE?
So it is our AK enhanced. It's basically, we focused on a couple core components in the gun and upgraded them. So it will come with nickel boron bolt and bolt carrier. It'll come with an FN cold hammer forged chrome line barrel. It'll go with the combo block style gas block and front sight all in one, versus the traditional AKM is a two-part. It'll come with things, little subtle enhancements like
Are the
ALG triggers.
Are the front trunnions any different than the regular G3s?
It is. It is the G3 or the GF3 is a 4140. It is our bread and butter trunnion. The enhanced will have the 4340 aircraft quality.
So other than the FN cold hammer forged barrel and the front trunnion, is there anything else that's different in comparison to what you're selling now?
Those are the high points. Like I said, you got the better material of the trunnion, you got the FM barrel, and you'll have the nickel boron bolt and bolt carrier.
And the threading of the barrel is the same?
It will be. It'll be M14 on one left hand. It'll be a traditional thread.
Now, initially it's just going to come out in 7.62 by 39. Do you have any other ideas for cartridges such as the 5.45 by 39?
Absolutely, absolutely. So the next thing you'll see come out on the AK lineup is the AKE. It's right around the corner. Following that will be the AK-74, and our first one out the gates will be a traditional, like a GF3 style.
Okay, so I'm going to ask the question I'm sure you guys are absolutely sick of hearing, but I got to ask you about the PSA 5. Is there any updates on that at all? Or are you guys not on that section of development for the PSA 5?
Well, so that's what we were talking about a few minutes ago. There's been a strategy change on it. So again, to try to hit the price point that everybody wants, we went down a path, looked at how we were going to do it. A lot of it was going to be outsourcing of parts through our preferred vendor network, the ones that if we don't make it in-house, our select vendors that do produce parts for us. So we're going to go that route, but it drove the price beyond where we wanted it to be.
Because you're trying to stay at what, roughly 1,200 and below,
That's right.
correct?
1,200 or less is what we're shooting for. It just having a slight markup on a more or less a middleman, it drove it beyond that. So we backed up, went to the drawing board, said, this is going to drag our timeline out, but let's try to keep more of it in-house, under JJE roofs. And if we can do that, that helps cut some cost out. And so that it did drag the timeline out, like I said, but it was in an effort to keep our promised price point.
Now I noticed up here you actually have one of the triangular shaped braces, which is really popular. Most guys want right now.
Yes, sir.
Has that become more available? Because it seems as of late it's only been out on the PSA AKV, and right now that's the only thing you offered on, correct?
That's right.
Okay, so do you plan on putting that on the AKP or any other firearms?
Absolutely, absolutely. Those will be on the Ps. They will be on. They'll actually be available on some of the. The reason that's all we've offered it on yet is because that is literally brand new to us.
Okay.
We just got our first parts off the tools about 2 weeks ago.
So I'm really feeling like this is Stoner and Kalashnikov.
You're
obviously the AR guy, and you're obviously the AK guy.
That's right.
I mean, just sitting here listening to you talk.
It's funny that we actually have, he has his set of shooting equipment, I have my set, and I mark all of mine with Stoner, and he marks all of his.
Really?
Yeah, with the K in it.
Would you mind holding up that AKE, bring it a little bit closer? I just want to take a look at it here if you could. Now, are you guys going to offer it with the birdcage brake, or are you going to have more of a traditional AK
No, it will
slant
have
style brake?
this was one of the first iterations that we put just a traditional birdcage on, and we haven't taken it back off. They will actually come with a brake like this, and this is just a raw metal right off the machine, so it's got a little rust on it. It's not
And
never
that
coated.
indents, correct?
It does.
Okay.
It does. So it's got a detent on it. We included the detent slot so that you could. We will also offer this aftermarket.
And it's a
so
1x14 left hand, right?
That's right. That's right. M14x1.
So if you guys are in the middle of the night and sit straight up and go, man, what did I think of this? Why? I mean, the new latest and greatest. This is going to be the greatest muzzle brake ever. How fast can these guys get it in your hands to see it work?
Muzzle brake?
Yeah.
That afternoon.
No kidding.
Yeah. The guys I think you already met, Adam and Bryson in the back, and Kevin. Those guys are they're magicians back there. They are master machinists. It's outstanding stuff.
So another good question some of my viewers are asking, obviously you just came out with a Lead Star AKP. Can you tell me what the difference is between the Lead Star and your traditional PSA AKP?
Yeah, so there's a lot of those are, a lot of the differences are just enhancements, kind of like the difference in PSA ARs and Lead Star ARs. Derek just puts his artistic touch on them, and he adds, the cuts here and there to make it lighter and more flashy and more sexy looking.
Is it the same barrel?
It gets a nitrided barrel, nitride, same as our GF3. His Prime series, we've talked about it offering 2 different ways. I'm not sure what we decided on for that yet.
Derek's
That's still to come.
actually back there, and we're going to have the
he's
Lead
right
Star
there.
after this too. So
Yeah, we can. You can bring him into that. But it was a lot of kind of what we were trying to do on the AKE. He did that because the Lead Star is obviously by nature it's an enhanced brand. So a lot of the AKE, the Lead Star stuff will come with, no matter what line it is, it'll have a 4340 trunnion. It'll have upgraded trigger, usually an ALG.
Usually has that railed handguard.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay.
So one of my other questions my viewers have, is there any hopes of possibly having a milled AK version in regards to your stamp version?
We've talked about it. We've looked into it. I don't think we have completely ruled it out, but it's one of those that, again, very similar to the PSA 5 discussion, that drives the cost up so much more that it kind of gets us into that area where we don't want to cross over that price point. But it's really hard to do a milled receiver for less than that.
Well, thanks for having us along, Colt. I really appreciate
Great
it.
to have you.
So do you strictly work with just the AK pattern firearms, or do you kind of go back and forth a little bit?
So we do. We all work as a team. It's not just one or the other. I am the lead on all the AK platforms. So, but that's not to say that we don't flex over and help each other on our projects. That's not to say that there's a hard line that I'm only AK and he's only AR and et cetera. And
safe to say that you kind of concentrate more on AK?
Absolutely.
Okay.
My focus is AK stuff.
And you were strictly involved with the AKV, correct?
Absolutely. Well, really, we all were.
Yeah.
We all were. I was tasked with driving the project, but that was input from all of us, and there was a lot of flex over them because that was one of those entirely different. It wasn't like a traditional copy of an AK. It was its own animal inside. There was a lot of development work that went along, and there was a lot of resources needed to get there. So we all jumped in and helped on that. Spent countless hours together working on it.
So if you wouldn't mind, would you mind explaining these particular AK variant platforms here?
These are just a sample of some of the stuff we've got out right now. Most of these are our test guns that have been torture tested, environment tested. A lot of them never got coded. They were just strictly for testing.
Now this looks like one of the original AKVs here, huh?
It's an early one. This one is probably an earlier one. We call her Buffy. She's probably got about 15,000.
So does this have the back bracket in it?
That one I don't think does. I know this one does not.
No. Well, this looks like it's been through the torture chamber a couple times.
So I think that one actually was one of the first sample Mac brackets.
So is this your first initial bumper prototype here?
It's one of them. So this is the...
now your stock adapter, you guys are... Is this something that you did or you outsourced?
Absolutely,
this?
absolutely. This guy right behind you designed that actually. That's his integral point that's made right across the hall at Elfster.
What other possible stock options you might be coming out with other than the triangular shaped one that everyone's trying to get their hands on right now?
That's the big one right now. So we've got, we initially launched with the SBA3. We're also doing the SBA4, SBM4, the ones that come on Derek's guns. We've got the side folding 1913 style is what SB Tactical calls it. And then you've got the triangle one that just kind of seems like what everybody's waiting on.
Yeah. So this is the original PSA AKV?
That's right.
All right.
This is one of them. She's going through a few iterations. We've obviously used her as test bed for many things, different adapters on the back, different stocks. This was the original Mac bracket.
So this has been through hell and back.
Absolutely,
huh?
absolutely.
Would you mind taking that bolt off so we can check out that Mac?
Sure.
Now is that welded in?
This was one of the welded ones, yes. This is one of the earlier ones.
So this is what you did all your testing on?
One of them. Yeah, one of them. This was the first one, and then many more followed to make sure we had consistency. But yeah, this one's been through a lot.
So what you added after initial launch was the Mac bracket, the bumper.
That's right.
And the spacer.
The spacer. We had the bumper, but we added the spacer just to shorten the stroke up a little bit.
Was there anything else that you did above and beyond that?
Those were the main highlights that we changed. It was really just in an attempt to prevent a casing from getting any action, which was one, by shortening the stroke up as much as we could, and then two, by blocking off any of the action that we could that you had to, that became exposed when it came back, when it traveled backward.
So is this a prototype here?
It is. This was one of the first AKEs. In fact, it is the first AKE, and it's been torn down. It did not have an FM barrel. It did not have a combo block, but we got the 4340 trunnion and the nickel boron components earlier, so we went ahead and built one up just to test those components out. And this one it was at 5,000 at one point. We carried it on. It's been to about 9,000 now.
And that has, you said that's not the FM barrel.
This one did not have an FM barrel. No, this was before FN could get us the barrels, but we did have the bolts and trunnions.
So it's Dale, correct?
Dale.
Okay, so just a quick question. Any new updates coming up in the 308 PA10 world that we should know about?
In 308 caliber or just
308, 6.5, or just the PA10 in general?
Yeah, so we are having, there's a few new calibers coming out. 6mm Creedmoor, 260 Remington, and 243 Winchester. Those should be coming out within the next 3 or 4 months.
Okay.
It'll be one at a time, of course, but keep an eye out for those. But as far as that, the new G310 is an amazing gun.
Yeah.
Just watch out for new calibers.
Yeah, especially now. Have you had any issues with that adjustable gas block that you know?
So we did in prototyping, right? So there's a spring in there. We actually had to do a lot of work on that spring to get it to last.
Yeah.
But it's an Inconel spring, and it's isolated from the actual gas flow.
Yeah.
So the spring's good, the screws are good. It's a nice block.
Yeah. And it works great with suppressed?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Awesome.
No, my name's Derek Hicks, so I kind of surprised him. I was out there, the one resetting the targets for everybody and burning my arm up. Let's start over here. Not a lot of people go in. We're actually pretty private about things, and there's some stuff that we do. So we do pretty much everything. We used to do everything from retail. We manage a website. We do all of our own pictures, everything. Building the website even. So we have actually moved to a distribution model of business where we're no longer going to be retailing off the website. It's already actually done.
Doing two-step? Doing two-step with distributors?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just to the point where our main focus is on engineering, design work, and machining. Not many people will take it, especially for such a small group, from an idea, engineer it, machine it, test it, and then send it out to market. I don't know many companies that do that whole step. There's a lot of people in the firearms market gets everything made for them, and we do it here. I had one of my friends who was the CEO of a company. He goes, nobody makes that much stuff. Cycle exactly right.
Give it some kind of weight or mass or something.
A little dead blow.
That's just, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Machine in another part. It had a lot of rounds.
My arm will kill me afterwards.
Pushing your grunts to
Oh yeah.
because that much weight.
So, my man, what do you think of that trigger and the weight?
Oh,
What, 3.5 pounds?
less. Less.